What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, look. The Philadelphia 76ers as a whole have been a disappointment, okay? And starting from Joel Embiid, many other players on the roster, but yeah, generally speaking, it's been Joel Embiid and Paul George have been the biggest disappointments. But Joel Embiid still has a lot left in the tank, in my opinion. I just think for the best of the franchise and the best for Joel Embiid, I think he needs to just go after this season. I think the experiment, the process has failed in Philly. Paul George, on the other hand, I think he's reached the end of his NBA journey. Okay, now we can't make Paul George retire. That's his own decision. But I think it's pretty apparent that he's at the downside of his NBA career. Okay, and far into the downside of his NBA career, actually. I think he's been in the downside probably last 2 to 3 years. But he's just fell off tremendously. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes there are certain guys who it's a gradual process over a period of maybe 5 or 6 years. And then there's some guys that just like they just completely fall off a cliff. It could be a series of injuries, plus age, whatever the case may be. I hope this video explains why Paul George is seen as such a disappointment. And let's be honest, a financial investment failure for the Philadelphia 76ers. Don't get me wrong, Paul George is a really good player. And if you make the arguments based upon numbers, you could argue he's a Hall of Famer. Although, to me, I mean, it further reduces the Hall if he gets in. That's just me. As far as its legitimacy and authenticity. But if you look at the numbers, right? Paul George, and on the right here you have Peyton Pritchard. And Peyton Pritchard averages about 14 points, 4 rebounds, and about 3.5 assists, right? And Paul George averages, I think, something like 16 points. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up. Paul George averages 16 points, I think about 5 rebounds and 4 assists, right? So on the surface, his numbers are a little bit better than Peyton Pritchard, right? But this is where the difference lies. Peyton Pritchard is shooting 47% from the floor. Paul George is shooting around 43% from the floor. Peyton Pritchard shoots about 41% from 3. Paul George about 36% from 3. Peyton Pritchard makes less than $7 million this year. Paul George, nearly $50 million. And that's where the difference lies in, my friend. You're getting about the same production points-wise with much higher efficiency. And also a guy who's been yielding more impactful performances. And he comes off the bench, Peyton Pritchard. Matter of fact, Peyton Pritchard is a leading 6th man of the year candidate. This is the stat that I found absolutely crazy. And I saw this on fadeawayworld.net. Paul George, so far this year, has only had 9 20-point performances. 9, which is crazy considering that he averages 16. He's played in almost 40 games. You would think he would have had like double digit by now. But he's had only 9. Peyton Pritchard has had 17 20-point performances. 17. So he's giving you really more production, making 1/7 of what Paul George is getting paid. So if Paul George is getting paid superstar money, but only putting under production, actually really less production than a role player. That's why everybody's going in on Paul George. That's why you see some people say he's literally stealing money from the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, you can't really blame Paul George because, hey, the Sixers signed him to that guaranteed contract. But this is why a lot of people feel like this is going to change the NBA. How many times have we seen these types of players who are getting these big exorbitant salaries based upon what the name on the jersey is and not what their production has been showing you what they are? And like I said, I've always been a guy who always wanted to see these guys make as much money as possible. But now it's getting to a point where we have to be honest about what the NBA, where the NBA is at this point now. And these guys don't really care about putting on a performance for the fans. They don't really care about that anymore. They just care about making money. That's it. Making money, building their brand, and to hell with the fans. And, for some odd reason, there are fans that rock with them on that. Because a lot of them aren't really fans of basketball. They're just, they're part of a cult, But those who really love the NBA and wish it would go back to what it was before, there has to be a balance for that to happen. And that balance has to be a healthy balance between the players and the owners. And for a long time, the owners were squeezing the players too much. And I was always pro-player. But at this point, man, I hate to say it, man, but the players are ruining the game, man. They're ruining the game. So that's crazy, man, with Paul George. That is. Just saw the stat a couple of weeks ago that he's had more podcast uploads this season than field goals scored. And now this. Paul George, just go ahead, man. Just go ahead and call it quits, brother. Just get into podcasting full time, man. You had a long ride, man. You came back from that devastating leg injury 10 years ago, and you're able to push it 10 years, bro. But it happens to all of them. It's time to call it quits, bro, because you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be if you're putting up 16 now, you don't want to be making 50-some million and you're scoring 9 points a game, man. You don't want to be that dude getting crossed up by Bronny. You don't want to be that guy. Anyway, that's all I got to say about it.